Welcome to Parrot TV Literary Corner. My name is Mutiu Olawuyi, and I have my co-hostess with me, Dustin Pickering, who is going to take over the whole show today to have a comprehensive conversation with one of our guests from South Africa this time around, Don Beukes. So please, over to you, Dustin.
Thank you. I am Dustin Pickering, and today we have Don Beukes. And Don, if you would like to tell us a little bit about yourself, um, then we'll be happy to hear.
Thank you very much, Dustin. Well, I'm originally from Cape Town in South Africa. I started out as a teacher in geography and English, and I've worked for about almost 10 years in South Africa before emigrating to the UK, to England. And I've written a lot about my very young experiences of apartheid in South Africa, and in various anthologies and maybe single poems as well, where I've shared my first 21 years under being born, raised, and brought up in the last 2 decades actually of apartheid in South Africa. But that's my cultural political background. I identify as what the apartheid regime grouped us as, which is so-called colored, or the colored people especially in Cape Town. Many people don't wish to use the term anymore, to not box people in, but because of a very distinct culture from the First Nation, the Khoi Nation, in Cape Town when the Dutch settlers arrived, a lot of us has actually owned that term to refer to us as a cultural group, and many people in the world don't even know we exist. So I write about a lot about who we are and dispelling any misconceptions about my particular background. I think that's in a nutshell for now how I can introduce myself.
Well, we could go on talking about your 3 books.
Yes.
Which can give us a kind of idea of what they are, where we can find them, and the experience of writing them. What is your experience in writing in collection when it's coming to fruition, and
yes,
specifically these 3 books that you have compiled in recent years.
Right, I'm going to start with my 2016 publication, so the Salamander Chronicles. It was originally published by Raja Williams of Creative Talents Unleashed. And basically the premise of this was that since 2010, I've written slowly but surely a collection of poetry, not knowing what's going to happen to it. And subsequently, it did in 2015 evolve into a collection which I thought was ready then to publish. The first title of my first book refers to the legend really of how a salamander in folklore was always, or is always, able to regenerate, to survive, to especially in fire in legendary folklore. And I think I latched on to that for the idea of survival. And that's why I called it the Salamander Chronicles. And each poem in this book is then a reflection of myself, my culture, and also a very always universal themes in my books. My second book, hang on, just getting them ready here. My second book came about with an exclusive collaboration with one vanity pop artist in America. called Vaccine, based in Los Angeles, previously Miami. Also, quite a few artists from South Africa, Nanda Subin, Jonelle Scholz, and this is the front cover, and it's called Icarus Rising, which is the theme poem, the title poem. And when I was looking for an artist to do the exclusive cover, this one then became the chosen cover because of my title poem, Icarus Rising. And I'm very proud of this one because it's exclusively an ekphrastic poetry collection. And I've subsequently really carved out a niche for myself with my ekphrastic poetry, and currently exclusively, mostly working with artists around the world, which culminated in this one particular collection, published by Alien Buddha Press. As you know, it's quite expensive to publish color prints, but luckily for me, quite a few have been included of the artworks in black and white at least, so I can't complain about that. And so my last book is my current book, which was published by Heath Brocker of Concrete Mist Press. It's called Sic Transit Gloria Mundi, which translates to "Thus passes the glory of this world." And that particular poem, the title poem, I wanted that to be sort of, again, a sort of a global reflection on the world we live in today, especially during the pandemic, and for some it's not over yet. So I think the book is quite prevalent at the moment as well, my latest book. And Scott Thomas Outlaw also thankfully did the description of this book as well. So that's in a nutshell, but the idea of my 3 books, yeah.
So for those who don't know, what is ekphrastic poetry? What does that mean?
Ekphrasis comes from the Greek, actually from ancient Greece. And let me I just want to read well, no, I don't. Sorry, I thought I had a proper quote from ekphrasis in Greek terms refers to using art and drawings to give words or shape art form into words, where images are, become symbols for a lot of themes, especially universal themes, and for what the human condition is going through or has been going through since the dawn of time, whenever that's is supposed to have started historically or mythically or religiously.
So, there's no telling. We don't know. So
we don't know.
We have no clue. So it's a matter of speculation. So well, we've discussed your 3 books, and I'm curious, when you write, do you have an audience in mind, and do you expect to be read, and why? Of course, you expect to be read, but I'm just curious what kind of, it's kind of a poetry question, like a lot of poets have asked me, why do I expect to be read? Well, of course, why do I expect to be read? Is there a message, or is there a sense of reaching out to the world, or is there something you're trying to say?
Yes, I think immediately my mind jumps to, thank you for asking that question. Immediately that question then channels my thinking into my most favored and precious poetic phrase, which is the 2 words, moral compass. So I think to make it clear to the audience out there, the words moral compass came to me as a sort of became my mantra as a poet and writer as well, because the words says it all. It says it really like I would want to reflect as a poet and a writer. I've taken on that idea of our moral compass as part of humanity, part of this supposedly universal thinking that we're all supposed to have as human beings, despite our differences, our cultures, our origins, and everything that goes with internationality and the multi-universe, or whatever we want to call it. There's so many spheres, and not all religions or thought processes or think tanks. Sometimes they don't meet at a meeting point, and there's as we know, a lot of strands of beliefs and personal intricacies, and there's so many levels to us as human beings. So I think, to answer your question, yes, I want people to know that most of my writing always refer back to this idea of what is our moral compass like at the moment within us. Can we see it in other people? What drives the human mind, for those of us who believe in having a soul, in religiously or not? What is it that pivots us as a human being on this walking this earth? So yeah, I think that's what I wanted to transfer to you.
Well, that's an excellent answer. You sort of put your fingers on the pulse of humanity there, and trying to reach out and engage with people on a more of a moral plane, or a less violent plane, I would say. It's a cultural plane, so it's you're reaching out to people on a communicative level rather than lashing out or something of that nature. And I think that's one thing that I like about the arts, is that if you have something in your soul or in your heart that's bothering you, you can still communicate it without being aggressive or abusive to other people. And so next question I would have is reaching out to other people, online, to network with other poets. How important do you think that is in this day and age, especially online, and considering COVID and the effects that's had?
I was just thinking while I was listening to you and you reflecting back how you've received my message on my mantra, the moral compass. I think, thanks, another good question from you, thank you. I think the reaching out globally, I just tell myself, look, if I as a human being feel something, an emotion, whatever, the flurry of emotions we have felt, especially during the pandemic, as human beings, no one can contest the fact that we all are able to cry, able to be angry, able to have all these human emotions, and yet people deny that we are the same, So again, my truth and my beliefs doesn't come just religiously from how I've grown up in the church I belong to, Christian church, in the New Apostolic Church in Cape Town, and which is also a denomination in America as well and around the world. At this point of my life, having become a writer, I do see myself as a universal voice, not a voice from a particular religion or sect or or belief or thinking. And so I use my own acceptance of my emotions, my frustrations, my anger. And personally, I do feel quite stirred and moved for the pain of others. I do cry when I see any group of people, any nation, any tribe around the world on this beautiful earth of ours. I actually do react as a human being to that, as a person. And I think when atrocities happen around the world, the first thing we ask ourselves is, why is this happening? How did it get to this point? How did we get here? So yes.
I think that's true. Maybe since we're discussing your poetry, would you like to share a piece that you feel reflects on that?
I hope the first one that I've chosen would be that. Yeah. Hang on.
And you're watching Parrot TV Literary Corner with Don Beukes, and Dustin Pickering here is your anchor.
Right, so I'm going to read from Sic Transit Gloria Mundi, my latest book. And this one is called Veritas Vortex. Just a quick note. I've slipped into this preferred prose style of writing in my poetry, where each verse becomes a micro story on its own, a human story on its own, and a universal message. So you'll hear when I start my verses, it actually has a little subtitle, but it all forms part of one idea of one poem. So the first one is Veritas Vortex. Sea of discontent. Your self-inflicted modern age vanity has perforated your gifted humanity, punctured your sound sanity, darkened your encompassing compassion for each other, enhancing your growing fueled hatred like rolling thunder, distrusting one another, fed by visual and twisted printed fodder. Have you ever wondered what happened to your own intelligence, or how your inner core has been brainwashed to the point of global detrimental wars, ignited by man-made flaws, unable to unite, reunite, eager to fight for perceived whispered rights, unable to calm this molten, invasive, intrusive, invading, creeping, reaching, darkening sea of discontent? Charred roots, your insatiable need to reach distant foreign shores, claiming its people and land as yours, trying to delete, even improve their imagined cultural flaws, leading to existential, consequential, historical wars, tearing up family structures, genetic lineage, vomiting your religious forced rhetoric, disrespecting their honored traditions, oblivious to the fact that you have interfered forcefully, engineered inhumanely, steered your colonially feared ships of invasion, depletion, deletion, annihilation, and yes, destroying eons of traditions, burning many a proud legacy, trampling on unsuspected nations with marauding, warring, superior, invasive boots, wiping out generations, your poisoned intentions resulting in irreversible, embittered, infected, hardened, twisted, deformed, fossilized, charred roots. In the entangled chokehold, this is what you yourself have created, your actions, your insistence, your evaporating consciousness causing this, an integrated chaotic nest of hardened weeds, a manifestation of your selfish modern age. Consumerism resulting in your inflamed social bleeding aneurysm, blinding your blurred veiled vision, your declining humane intended mission, blurred by greed, the need for acquiring, pilfering, claiming everything. Annihilation nation, your essence severed, your inner light dismembered. Embrace this, accept this, listen to this, do not ignore this, contemplate this, your final Veritas Vortex. Thanks for listening.
Absolutely, that's very
That's
powerful, and you
fantastic.
read it with such passion.
I love the
Thank you.
approach used. It's
Thank you.
simple for average readers to understand. That is the most important part of the message. The message is very clear and straightforward, but something must have pushed you to write this. What really inspired you to write this poem?
I refer you to this. Also, the title is a truth, sort of a truth tornado. The tornado of truth versus lies, where actions are easily, given some self-assured explanations, and yet that might be the truth that groups or individuals find themselves in, but it doesn't mean it is a universal truth. So in this poem, I'm addressing all these truth spirals of truth out there, which might not actually sound like or look like what most of humanity would say is a truth of the human race.
Wow, that's quite a thought to grasp. So I would appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
So, what moment was it for you when you realized poetry was essential to your life?
Just a quick reference to where my love for reading started. Growing up under a vicious apartheid system, although I had a good education, I was lucky to get into university with a state bursary to become a teacher. It wasn't easy, but I did it. I've gone through it. And so the point I want to make is, my sister, when I was very young, I used to sneak into a room and sneakily grab one of her Reader's Digest collection, because she had it posted to her every month. And I was very intrigued by opening one of the first volumes. There was short stories in there and poetry as well. And my love for literature actually started there. I was about 10 years old, I think. Jumping to 2015, I can reveal that my process, and actually my very first moment to share with you all, is in 2015. Without having published any poems, I got connected with a well-known satirist turned or comedian turned artist, Casper de Vries, a well-known satirist, comedian turned artist in South Africa. He was going to have a big collection of abstract paintings. I met him once years and years ago as a youngster, and I reached out to him, and that was the first time where I felt bold enough to reach out to and to connect to artists and to any writers out there in 2015. He then subsequently accepted my very first ekphrastic responses to 9 of his paintings, which was then, and my ekphrastic reactions to his paintings, 9 works, my poems was actually put on canvas as well at the gallery near Johannesburg in South Africa, and it just transformed from there. Unfortunately, I didn't get any publication around the country, or even because this was quite a unique first for an exhibition of that kind, and I would go as far as to say that I believe that was quite unique, but for reasons beyond my control, I just didn't get any exposure for that. But apart from Casper de Vries, the artist himself, and it was amazing and everything. But my works was then published and also put in the gallery with his artworks with me in absentia. So that was my moment, and that gave me the impetus to be where I am now.
It's an excellent story. It's quite inspiring. So you just sort of, you know, moved in, and it just kind of happened gradually through your connection with this other artist. So maybe would you like to read another poem?
Sure.
Sorry, before you read all the poem, I actually want to know, you know, how your literary activism in South Africa and your literary activism in the UK, which one you feel you are more fulfilled and why?
First of all, to dispel the UK connection, I see myself as a global citizen, but having been born in Cape Town in South Africa, I have, to be honest with you, I have tried when I started my journey in 2015 to get exposed in the major journals, the top journals and poetry journals in South Africa, and unfortunately, all my submissions was rejected back then. I wrote in sending poems in both in my mother tongue Afrikaans and also English. I'm bilingual, and so yeah. To answer your question, I'm quite intrigued, and every day or every second day I connect with South African writers. So I've put that rejection behind me, but I have not stopped to connect with South African writers. To the point where in 2017, I worked with 3 authors of the same culture as mine, a mixed race colored culture in South Africa. Selvan Mulborough, Bevan Bochenpoel, and Leroy Abrams. The 4 of us then subsequently wrote a book together, an anthology, where we have different, the English and Afrikaans, and references to the South African experience, the global experience as well, in 2 languages. And so that was my moment to introduce my name into the South African literary world. And I'm constantly pulled back to my country of my birth and my heritage. Yeah. You mentioned the UK. I find it very difficult to get into the UK market. To be honest, I have tried, but I had once a poem in the Guardian, but that specific supplement is non-existent at the moment.
Wow. Well, you got there. I mean, that's a good start. I mean, if you would like to go ahead and read an extra poem, we have about 10 minutes left.
Sure, thank you.
You're watching the Parrot Literary Corner. This is Dustin Pickering.
I'm choosing this one. Actually, this the Parrot Brigade. Sorry, the Parrot Brigade is also another ekphrastic poem, actually, which I wanted to include in this collection.
Unfortunately, you're not on Parrot Literary Corner. That's interesting.
Sorry.
You're
said it was
on Parrot
appropriate.
Literary Corner, and you are reading Parrot Brigade.
Oh, yeah. You've actually made it very clear to me there. Thank you. So the Parrot Brigade. Maybe this can be your. Maybe this could become your theme poem.
Interesting.
Right. So, sorry, I must just mention the artist that I responded to again for an ekphrastic response is Marl Herms from Netherlands. So the Parrot Brigade. Yes, no, maybe. We cannot deny that our very essence is entwined in our inability to openly disagree or come to any individual sentiment or decision that might remotely reveal our liberating yearning for a free mind to reflect our supposed inherited legacy. But that would only reveal our unintended haphazard hypocrisy, which enable us to hide behind the fake urgency of our hastened history, rewritten, molded, adapted, retracted, even altered. Fake admiration. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. I say, sir. You are most welcome, sir. Please try it on, sir. Of course, sir. Right away, sir. I will immediately contact reception, sir. I will sort it out, sir. Leave it all to me, sir. You can trust us, sir. Please allow me more time, sir. So sorry. I cannot think of any reason why this should spoil your treasured long relationship with us, sir. Please allow us to make it up to you, sir. Sir, you forgot your hat and your cane, sir. Yes, we will insure it for you, sir. Just sign here, sir. That's all we need, sir. We thank you for your sponsorship, sir. And we are here to serve and satisfy you, sir. Just wave as you always do, sir, and someone will be after you, sir. This way, madam, I promise that you will look fabulous in this exclusive original design by the designer known as EXO. Who knows, you might even be chosen to reveal it in your very own catwalk, floating on your moment to shine, wine, and dine until you get noticed. Just you wait and see. Who will scramble to gain your affection? There, no need to be sad now. Yes, I can inquire if you can be moved to your window seat for the flight home after your meeting. I take it you still prefer authentic champagne in your dressing room? Internal meltdown. You are asking, what? Seriously, who do you think you are? Never has this establishment bent over this far to woo your brittle, pathetic ego. Oh no, don't puff up those red cheeks to me. I might just pop them with my sewing needle. Me? Are you serious? Go ahead. Complain all you want. What do I care? Attention, please. Can cleaner A immediately proceed to aisle 4 to Mrs. Grimbleby, one of our most valued customers? That's cleaner A. That's it.
Wow, fantastic.
I wrote this, I hope you got the gist of the poem, but it's all this fake admiration for customers and celebrities and throwing the red carpet out and making more of other people as if they are living gods on the red carpet, you know?
Right. A little satire going on there.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir, excuse me, sir. Yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hat, here, have a hat, sir. Here's your hat. Here's
Yeah.
It's very exaggerated, so it's very satirical. I like it.
It's quite different. It's quite different from my style, this one. And I wanted to, because the painting has different faces and different expressions from the characters that Marshall Holmes does. So yeah, that was a bit different, but I thought I'd throw that one in as well.
Sure, different aspects of the same artist. It's good to see, different faces of the person, So you also do photography. Maybe if you could really quickly tell us a little bit about your photography and how you got involved in that. About 5 minutes.
So currently on Instagram, I only write exclusively micro poetry based on my personal photography. I'm a very amateur start photographer, and I see stories in nature. I see stories in architecture. I see stories, obviously, as you know by now, in art. So I think my amateur photography, my love of photography, is born from that passion of the visual. I'm a visual learner, and as a teacher, I had to learn afresh, sort of a decade into my or 2 decades before I left teaching for good. I had to learn that you have different learners in a class. You have different learning styles, learning speed, and adaptation, So photography was born out of my love for the visual and the stories within whichever type of visual is out there. So that's in a nutshell. Just to do a final point on that. The only published photo I've had published was in Spirit Fire Review, which oh god, I can't get to the name now. Janine Pickett, sorry Janine. Janine Pickett is the editor of Spirit Fire Review, and a collection of my first photography has been published in there.
Wow, so you're also a published photographer, even though you're saying it's part of your communication and learning of things and looking at things at different angles for people to also experience things in different ways. And so within a period of about a minute and a half, do you have any last words to part with the audience and the future artists of the country and the world as well?
Yeah, can I do that in the form of my foreword for which is actually a message to the world that you just referred to? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes, please.
Okay.
So my foreword, yeah, okay. So this is my message to the world, and it goes like this. No matter how much I want, sorry, oh, I'm so sorry. Preface. Each one of us has a each one of us has a unique origin, culture, and belief system, which, despite our religious and linguistic differences, does not change the fact that we are one human nation. We all have emotions that are guided by our inherent moral compass, however much we protest against it. Modernity has changed life for billions of us in the time we live in now, despite economic, religious, and personal constraints. Politicians might control how we live, how we integrate in society, or how we as a global society should function, but most of us interact with each other by pure instinct and a sense of commonality. We rejoice when a baby enters this world and mourn when that life comes to an end, which makes us reflect on our spirituality. We protest against injustices, social decline, and inept leaders governing our lives, but we also enjoy what this life, this existence has to offer. Some of us lose our way and seek out false welcome prophets to soothe our human melancholy with detrimental consequences. This collection deals with a myriad of human emotions and experiences. It speaks about the status of this global village and of personal existential journeys, but also nature, love, loss, and laughter. Let us marvel in the glory of this world, but also be realistic about our biological clock ticking away as we deal with the loss of loved ones. Sometimes without any warning, like an invisible veil, they pass through, reflected in the title, Sic transit gloria mundi, thus passes the glory of this world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This has been Parrot TV Literary Corner. Subscribe to our channel, please. I implore you, subscribe to our channel if you enjoy this content. Thank you very much for joining us today. I am Dustin Pickering. This has been with Don Beukes. Thank you, Don.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, both of you.
We really appreciate your time with us. We sincerely appreciate every bit of the